The Terror Twins have attacked New Orleans, and Superman and Martian Manhunter are sent to subdue them. The heroes throw the twins far away, and they crash through the roof of a warehouse. Aqualad and Red Tornado emerge from the shadows to restrain them with collars which render their powers useless. The twins don't understand how that's possible, as they have just taken on Superman, yet these collars have made them weak. Superboy and Miss Martian approach, but Superboy has a whole new look. He is nearly identical to the Tommy Terror. Miss Martian touches Tuppence Terror and shifts to match her exactly. Miss Martian and Superboy are being sent undercover as the Terror Twins to investigate 4 suspicious ice attacks that happened on the 4th of July. The villains of these 4 separate attacks, Mr. Fries, Icicle Jr., Killer Frost, and Captain Cold have all managed to get themselves transferred to a prison built to house supercriminals. Batman thinks trouble is afoot. He wants Superboy and Miss Martian to find out what's going on. At the prison, they are greeted by the warden, Amanda Wallow. She explains that their collars are set up to inhibit their specific powers, but are also used to discipline the prisoners. If they get out of line or disobey, the guards can shock them with electricity in varying levels of intensity. She tells them that the walls are thick enough to hold Superman, and Belle Reve has never been broken out of before. They also meet their psychiatrist, Professor Hugo Strange. Miss Martian can still communicate with Superboy telepathically, as the collar has been designed to stop the Terror Twins' power, not hers or Superboy's. Junior and Superboy are bunked together, and the next day Junior tries to convince Superboy to team up with the toughest villains in Belle Reve. Their leader is Junior's father, Icicle Sr. Junior and Superboy begin to bond, as they both know what it's like to live in their father's shadow. Junior tries to approach Icicle, but is attacked by a masked prisoner, Ojo. Although Icicle Sr. and his men are standing nearby, they do nothing to protect them. When Superboy comes to Junior's defense, Icicle's men attack him. Ojo recognizes Superboy, but Miss Martian manages to hack into his head and convince him that Superboy is Tommy Terror. Junior approaches his father. Superboy listens in with his super hearing and discovers that the ice villains are plotting to release all the prisoners of Belle Reve. In their cells, new uniforms are delivered. Junior tells Superboy he will want to put his on, and he alerts Miss Martian that the escape is underway. Communicating telepathically, they decide to wait until they know the plan before alerting the Justice League to any of the prisoners' plans. In a session with Professor Strange, Miss Martian tries to get Superboy to discuss his issues with the absent Superman. She explains to Professor Strange that Superboy wants to live up to his father's example, but his dad keeps ignoring him. With the assistance of Officer Wilcox, Icicle and his men open a shipment of parts that will aid them in their escape. By watching the news, the villains can track the movements of the Justice League and know they are far away from Belle Reve. The only member they cannot account for is Red Tornado, but Icicle isn't worried. He knows that Red Tornado alone won't be enough to stop them. Over lunch, Superboy and Junior continue to bond over their absent fathers. While they are talking, Dr. Fries attacks Icicle Sr., bloodying his lip. Officer Wilcox drags Fries away. Fries is brought to the warden's office, but he has been given a weapon. He freezes his escort and his collar, breaking himself free. The warden tries to initiate a lockdown, but Dr. Fries freezes her hand and takes control of the collars, turning them off. With their powers back, the prisoners are able to bust out of their cells and capture the guards. The villains begin to break through the walls to the outside and to the women's side of the prison. Unfortunately, Miss Martian has blown her cover trying to stop the escape from happening. Superboy has lost his psychic connection to Miss Martian. He tricks Junior into helping him and breaks into the control room, turning all the collars back on. However, some of the prisoners have removed their collars and are operating at full force. Dr. Fries discovers that Superboy has betrayed them, but he manages to convince Junior that he hasn't, and that Dr. Fries is trying to overthrow Icicle. Junior and Superboy fight off Dr. Fries and the men he has brought with him. Superboy breaks free to the women's side of the prison and discovers that Miss Martian has been frozen in a block of ice. He is able to telepathically connect to Miss Martian and she breaks free. They kiss. In the warden's office, Professor Strange is replacing Amanda as the warden. It is revealed that he helped the villains smuggle their weapons in. Both he and Icicle are working for the Light. Although the prisoners did not escape, the Light's goals have been accomplished. On episode 12, it's 6 a.m. in Gotham City and Artemis's alarm is blasting. She wakes up and looks across her room at an empty bed. There is an Alice in Wonderland poster hanging above it. A flashback shows her with her older sister, begging her sister not to leave. She refuses. Their mom will be in jail for a long time, and she won't live at home with their dad. In the present, Artemis's mom yells at her to get up. It's time for her first day at school. Artemis is starting at Gotham Academy on a Wayne Foundation scholarship. She meets Bet, her student liaison. Robin runs up to Artemis and takes a selfie with her before running away before she can discover his real name. At Mount Justice, Superboy and Miss Martian are making out when they are interrupted by the Sphere. He is warning them that Kid Flash is on the way. They are hiding their new relationship from the team. Aqualad tells Red Tornado that there might be a mole in the Junior League. He has decided not to alert the other members in case it's true. He asks Red Tornado if he should tell Batman, but Red Tornado says the decision is up to him. Red Tornado leaves. In an alley, Robin catches Artemis, who is about to enter the Mount Justice. He asks her why she is in Gotham City and not Star City, where her uncle Green Arrow is. She makes up a story about her cousin, but Robin is not convinced. When they arrive, they discover that someone has entered the Mount Justice headquarters. They are under attack. The villains have attacked in a cloud of red smoke. They are throwing flames at Artemis and Robin. They attempt to run for it but are stopped by a giant tidal wave. They continue to run but are continuously intercepted by either fire or water. They try to radio the rest of the Junior League but can't reach anyone. Robin and Artemis escape down a tunnel. Still unsure who the enemy is, Robin hacks into the security feed. Aqualad is asking the team questions, trying to figure out who might be the mole. As they are talking, there is an attack, and the feed cuts out. Robin checks the other cameras, but all they can see are giant waves attacking before each turns to static. They don't know where their team members are. Robin and Artemis make it to the library. They are looking for a secret exit when they hear a noise. Artemis recognizes Red Tornado's voice, but when she runs out to greet him, it is not Red Tornado at all. Instead, she finds an android who looks like an evil version of their mentor. The other attacker is also a red and yellow android, but it has a feminine appearance. Robin and Artemis escape through the bookcase and enter the tunnels of Mount Justice. Artemis is scared. She knows how powerful Red Tornado is, and does not know how they can possibly beat the androids. They hear a voice telling them they have 10 minutes to surrender or put the lives of their teammates at risk. In the hangar, Aqualad and an unconscious Miss Martian are trapped in a cage of fire. The sphere has been broken and thrown into a wall. Superboy and Kid Flash are encased in stone. The male android uses his powers to bring a tidal wave of water up to Superboy and Kid Flash's necks. If Robin and Artemis do not show up within 10 minutes, he will drown them. The male android floods the tunnels where Robin and Artemis are hiding. He almost captures them, but Robin uses a breathing machine, and they escape. They make it to the hangar to rescue their friends, but the androids prove too powerful. Robin and Artemis must flee from them yet again. In the tunnels, Artemis is panicked because she and Robin are the only two members of the Junior League without superpowers. They must defeat these villains and rescue their friends, but she doesn't know if they can do it. Robin realizes that if they can create an electromagnetic pulse, all machines in range will be shut down. Artemis points out that they don't have the right machine, but Robin thinks he can make one. Via telecommunication, Robin and Kid Flash work together to create the machine. Their only problem is that to be strong enough, the machine needs to be hooked up to the cave's main generator. The generator is in the hangar with the heroes and the androids. Kid Flash and Superboy try to distract the androids while Robin sets up the machine. He realizes he is missing a part. Robin is captured by the androids while Artemis manages to escape. All alone in the tunnel, Artemis is scared, realizing she is the only member of the Junior League who hasn't been caught. Aqualad, Miss Martian, and Robin are all unconscious. Artemis thinks that if she surrenders, they will all die, but if she can get out, she can call the Justice League for help. She tries to escape, but falls down an air shaft. Alone in a room in Mount Justice, Artemis decides to hide and hope the Justice League finds her. She spots the mask belonging to Cheshire, the League of Shadows assassin, and talks to it. She tells it that she knows it would understand if she abandoned her team members. A flashback reveals that Cheshire is Artemis's sister, and when she left, she gave Artemis instructions to always look out for herself. Artemis realizes that while that was true in her family, that's not how things work in the Junior League. Artemis goes to surrender herself to the androids, but at the last second she uses her last arrow and shoots the machine hooked up to the generator. The metal in her arrow acts as a conduit and releases the electromagnetic pulse needed to take down the androids. The androids turn off and the Junior League is set free, except for Kid Flash and Superboy, who is still trapped in concrete. Red Tornado returns, having realized that communications at Mount Justice were down. Artemis and Robin chastise Red Tornado for not telling them he had siblings, but he did not know about them. The charge wears off and electronics come online just as Red Tornado is examining the androids. A pulse from the female android's finger to Red Tornado turns Red Tornado against the Junior League. He uses his air powers to suck the breath from their lungs. The Junior League members all pass out. When they wake up, the Justice League is there. They came to their rescue. The Junior League may have survived, but the androids escaped, taking Red Tornado with them.